Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to share with you how much capital do you need to buy your commercial property, and if you want to know then stay till the end. One of the biggest reason people invest into property is the leverage, and that leverage is in the form of loans, right? All the major lenders is ready to lend on the property, whether it's a residential property or it's a commercial property. You will get loan. Now with commercial property you get lesser LVR. What is called LVR means loan to value ratio. When you buy your residential property you get 80, 90, sometimes 95% loan. Means if for $1 million purchase, if you have even 50 to 100,000, you can fund that property. Whereas in commercial property you need a bigger LVR. So in other words, like you get 65 to 70% LVR from the lender, and the other 25 to 30% that you have to pay from your pocket. On top of that, the next cost that you have is the stamp duty and the other costs that you need to pay. Remember, depends on which state you are buying commercial property, there is a extra additional cost just like residential property, and that cost needs to be factored in as part of your purchase. A common calculation is that if you want to buy a commercial property of $1 million, then you should be looking roughly about $350,000 from your own pocket, and the other $700,000 that will come from the lender. Hence it's become $1,050,000, which is the total cost for $1 million purchase. Next thing that you need to understand is that $300,000 or $350,000 that you have to pay from your pocket, it doesn't have to be from your own money. In other words, like if you have other form of investment, so in other words, if you have other residential property or home equity, you can tap into that and buy into commercial property. Now, I can give you countless examples where people have done like this, where they just tied up with one of their residential investment property with a commercial property, and throughout over the period of time as the property grows up, then they can get a significant boost and significant cash flow as well. Because remember, residential property you get the growth, and the commercial property you get income. What you need is a combination of both residential as well as commercial. Now with finance, remember, if you get about 65% to 70% loan, that's kind of a standard. You can get sometimes 80% loan, but remember in that case maybe the interest rate would be a little higher, there will be some upfront fees, but you can get 80% loan as well. You can be creative, and you can be creative in a way that, okay, I would take a little bit of higher loan, but I am going to hold cash so that I can buy multiple commercial properties. So when it comes to financing the property, you can be creative, you can take higher loan. But remember, if you are doing a standard deal, which is like 70% you are taking and 30%, that is always be better than looking for an extreme case, which is like taking 85% or 90%, trying to get that kind of loan. Because then all the cost and everything is going to eat up your cash flow, and you sometimes can become even negative cash flow as well if you are taking like 100% loan. But I always say that always think about 70% loan and 30% from your equity or your own money. That way you get a better deal. So in conclusion, how much do you need as part of your purchase? It depends on what LVR that you are opting for. If you are opting for 65 to 70%, then what I just explained earlier, that's the amount of money that you need for a 70% LVR. So how much capital do you need in terms of the money? It depends on what kind of deal you are buying. If you are buying a $500,000, which is $500,000 deal, then perhaps 150 or 180,000 would be more than enough to fund that property, and then you can go ahead. On the other side, if you are looking for $1 million, then 350. So 35% of the purchase price and 70% LVR is kind of a guidelines when you try to buy a commercial property under normal circumstances. If you find this video is helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe our channel, turn the notification bell on so you get to see more videos like this. And it also helps us to reach out to more people like you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.